So, there will be links to all of these in the description, but here's a quick overview of what we're using. Summon Rework Core reworks some of the infusions on summons to make them a little bit better. It's mostly quality of life stuff for summoners. Some of the Odin Blade mods, mostly the ones that overhaul the elemental magics and just add some new skills to them, and also the Spectre class, because I like it better than his Necromancer overhaul. I think it just makes a good addition to the Necromancer class. And then the Astronomer class, which is the only one on this list I haven't tried before. It adds a bunch of water and fire, moon and sun themed magic that have some unique mechanics attached. I am planning to try to use mostly the sun side of it because I am planning to play the Red Prince and he's always called the Spouse of the Sun. Just seemed fitting and I wanted to give this a try. Adaptive Lizards, which will let me pick the element of my breath. I'm probably actually going to stick with fire, but it also doubles as a patch between Odin Blade's Pyrokinetic class and the Lizard's Normal Dragon's Blaze ability. It means that it'll increment Scorch and do some of the other stuff that Pyrokinetic stuff is supposed to do. So being able to potentially change the element is kind of just a bonus. And then Happily Emmy After, which adds a happy ending to a quest you run into in the first act that should have had a happy ending to begin with. And actually, out of all of these mods, it's probably the only one on here that I would not play the game without it. All the rest of these are mostly just fun extra skills. And I tried to limit it to the ones that fit the vanilla balance reasonably well and don't seem out of place. Because there are definitely a bunch of crazy ones on the workshop, and I mean, I've played with some of them before. They're cool, but for a Let's Play, I tried to stick to stuff that fits.
We're doing classic mode because we'd like some challenge, but we don't want it to be...
Tactician does some things to the difficulty that I don't like. Mostly the fact that it makes enemies so dang tanky that combat just takes forever. That's not fun to me. So yeah, we're going with classic, and you're going to be doing local split screen so you can actually see what we're both doing. Does mean we have to be on controller, which has its pros and cons, but that would honestly probably be the way we'd go anyway because we're on a couch.
I will be playing Ethan and seeing if I can break this quest yet again.
This is not a blind playthrough. We have both played this game several times. Admittedly, most of our playthroughs have died shortly after Act 2. We'll usually run into bugs or something. Trust me, this mod list, there's 10 mods on it, but that's actually pretty tame compared to how we've usually played this. So usually a mod or something would bug out and it would end up tanking things. That's part of why this is so trimmed back, at least by my standards. Yeah, no, the white just looks too good against the red. Dante knew what he was doing. Lizards get a natural bonus to persuasion, so I'm probably going to be the one doing all of the persuading. Just because I have that natural first point in it. So I'm going to take a second point, which should cover us for most of the early game, having 2 points in it. And then my next point will probably be in Lore Master, and then, you know, maybe back to Persuasion, and then Lore Master. Just sort of keep bouncing between those, so I'll be identifying items and talking to people. And Bill, if you're going to play as Ethan, I believe humans get a point in bartering, so you're going to be covering bartering, and we need someone to do thievery, because we need to unlock things. And I'm probably going to branch into other damage types besides fire. It's just that I'm kind of fire focused. Or I'm going to try to be. Sometimes I go all over the place with this a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to say that we need a healing ability at the start. So, since it doesn't look like Bill's looking in that direction, I'm seeing a lot of geomancy and such over there. Guess I'm taking the healing.
Yeah, I'm looking more at Aerothurge and Geomancer, which should complement any water and fire you do?
Yeah, I mean, it just means that
at first, and then we'll probably both branch into other stuff.
Yeah. I kind of assumed you'd be going for necromancy, to be honest.
I'm thinking about it, but we mostly do magical damage.
Yeah, that is the only thing, is that necro abilities mostly do physical, but I mean, some enemies have much lower physical armor than magical armor, so having at least a few abilities that happen to do physical damage might come in handy sometimes. We'll see. It is usually better to focus on either magical damage or physical damage, just because of how the armor in this game works. And while I will be taking Savage Sortilege pretty quickly, because spells having a critical chance is frankly something that I think should have been in the game without a talent to begin with, we kind of need Lone Wolf at the start, because we are not planning to take any other NPCs in the party. And the reason for that is because I really do not like managing the inventory and skills of extra NPCs. I find it to be a lot of busy work. And obviously you can't change your tags when you're playing an origin character, which is probably going to mean that we can't do all the quests, because there are a couple of quests that require specific tags. Like the Mystic tag is borderline a requirement, as is the Scholar tag, so we at least have one of them. But yeah, those are the two tags that get checked like way more often than all the others for being hard requirements for interactions and quests. Like the other ones are mostly flavor, as far as I'm aware. But we at least have the Scholar one, so we'll be getting some of the stuff. But there's probably going to be some stuff we can't do just because we don't have the right tags. And unfortunately, as far as I know, Outlaw and Soldier are both kind of useless.
Yeah.
Mystic wouldn't make any sense, but it'd be way more useful.
Yeah, I'll make sure to use them where I can, but yeah. I don't remember Outlaw or Soldier having all that much.
I don't know. I'm not going to force you to play any specific way, but where I can, I'm going to try to pick stuff that's marked as specifically like the Red Prince or Noble or Scholar. I'm going to try to play as the Red Prince, which means I'm probably going to be an arrogant you-know-what.
Yep.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Are you making the mistake of just letting me walk wherever I want? Never mind.
I believe she is. And oh boy, will they regret it.
What did they do to me?
Let's get our bearings.
Right, and as far as my hotbar goes, I'm just going to take off the source skill. It's going to be ages before we can even try to use it. And yep, we got everything assigned to our hotbar. That actually worked out pretty well this time. And just a couple of quick things. This is stuff would normally be in your inventory. These are obviously 2 mod added books, The Tome of Adaptive Lizards. I can use to change my breath type. So yeah, there's some cool ones in here, but I'm going to stick with House of Ash.
As for me, I have a mysterious letter.
Yeah, could you please not lose it this time?
It's part of the quest. I'm going to read it.
Yep.
Ben Mizd, your target is none other than Divine Bishop Alexander, leader of the Divine Order. Get close and show our benefactor why the Silver Claw is the most feared amongst the lone wolves. For some aid with your mission, seek Magister Boris in the ghetto. Speak our motto to identify yourself. May the
not
moon
even
light
attempting that.
your tracks, Roost and Lawn. Yeah, I
It'll be time to have words with this.
didn't want to butcher the pronunciation of that motto.
Okay, yeah, just please put the contract in your backpack or something, because the last time we played, we somehow lost the dang thing, and then you couldn't talk to Boris, and it was just a bit of a mess. Although we found out that if you take Boris out, you just find instructions on his body, so
there is a
fail-safe that seems to kind of work. And then these are the settings for Odin's mods. And I'm just going to check to make sure they're correct. Yeah, enemies can use Odin Blade skills. That seems only fair. I want them to have access to the same skills we do. I doubt they'll use any of the astronomer magic, but there's nothing I can do about that. That's the only ones they won't have access to. All the other ones they should. Custom vendors, I'm going to turn those off. The skills will still be at the normal vendors you find in the game, so this should cut it down to there being only one extra vendor for the astronomer skills. So that should reduce any potential clutter or mishaps because there are custom merchants in places they shouldn't be.
Yeah, we found that anytime you add like custom vendors or custom enemy encounters and stuff, there's a lot of risk.
Yeah, it's usually like what we would run into is like if you added an enemy encounter where there weren't any before, it would end up like they would start attacking NPCs, or if there were merchants that weren't there before, sometimes the faction relations would be screwed up and they'd be considered allied with the player instead of neutral, and that could cause problems. Trying to limit that chaos. Oh, and we need to activate the gift bags. These are essentially just mods and tweaks that Larian made semi-official. So just Spirit Vision lasts forever when we get it. We still have to recast it occasionally in practice, but it's a lot more convenient than it normally is. We don't need to choose between combat talent and being able to do some fun quests. And the cat won't die. That's it. And now I should be able to talk to the sheep.
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin.
Fresh meat. Bah. Nice. Plump. Banded like a chicken's leg, too.
I don't appreciate being likened to a farm animal.
You're more animal than me. Sorcerers are bad news, and the Magisters know it.
With two shakes of her stumpy tail, the sheep turns away from you to peruse her hay-filled manger.
Even some of the animals are apparently discriminating against sorcerers. That's almost impressive. Yep, there's the key in that vase back there. I will say, for all the issues that Controller can have with some of the inventory management, which honestly isn't too bad, all things considered, one thing that is super nice about Controller, that search button. just brings up a list of everything within a certain radius of you, and you can pick everything up. I assumed you were picking everything up. Okay, I didn't mean the bucket and the plate, but I need to remember that Bill is very literal, and if I say everything, it will literally be everything. Okay, what skills did you choose to start with?
Let's see. Skills.
Fossil Strike, Unholy Ritual, and Decaying Touch. Okay. That's a mix. Would you like a dagger? I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to expect this back when we get something better, because I actually tend to keep that pocket knife because I need it for crafting, and it's a lot cheaper than most other knives you can find. So,
This floor plate triggered.
okay, we're going to need to throw some stuff on these switches here. Yeah, a stool or something should work. There we go. Alright, so we've got a bunch of oil and a sleeping magister.
Come here.
Can we throw that down there, or am I going to have to, like, pick it up? I'm going to pick it up and move it down there. No, it's not junk, Prince. It's going to soon be something that makes this magister have a very bad day. Okay, getting these barrels. Then I'm really hoping that the glyphs set this off, because if I have to use my dragon's blaze, I mean, I could use that from like over here and use that oil as a fuse, I guess. He won't be taking the initial damage from the dragon's blaze, but that's fine. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm not one to let
Oh god, he's just gone.
He's just vaporize him.
He's just gone.
He done. That wasn't even a fight. So much fire.
Oh, that was beautiful, and also realistically should have blown a hole in the hull. I don't know if we even got experience for that, because I'm not sure if the game registered combat happening. But I don't really care. It was worth it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Alright, let's let this guy out.
And he'll probably try to...
eyes meet yours.
Yep.
He speaks not with gratitude, but with
Ah, freedom. Tastes
Okay, he's apparently just gonna be immune.
Well, he's still gonna have to deal with that surface.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, this will put a damage aura on me. So anyone within that fire circle will take damage. And it gives me an extra skill, Solar Wind. So I can actually knock an enemy back with it and deal more fire damage if I want to actually use an action point to do so. And I can only do it every couple of turns. And I'm just going to create some sun crests here to cause him additional problems while he tries to walk out of there. And what? While I'm, trying to learn how this works, can I examine? Examine. Sun essence. So it only lasts a turn, so it doesn't have any innate effect on its own. It would purely affect you if you were going to use any of the astronomer skills. So that's fine. But it's not doing anything crazy in the background as far as I can tell. And since I don't have any other weapons at the moment, I'm just gonna back up a little bit. He'll still have to run close to the damage aura. Oh, he has a fireball. Everything is on fire, always. Make sure you're not hitting yourself with your own rock. Yeah, there you go.
What would he have
And that's done.
killing me? I need to keep my guard up.
So much fire. I'm just going to heal up over here. All right. Nope, nothing here we need to take. And apparently there's like a tiny pixel of oil right there in the... Not enough to be worth trying to burn it away. We shouldn't be having to walk back through there. Right, I'm gonna have to burn off that poison, which I'm gonna do from over here. There we go.
No key? No problem.
Locked.
Okay, that door was
Back where I
a
started.
bit slow in opening.
I know where to go, but up.
And up we go. Well, no one cares about me taking that gold cup, so it's coming with me.
Junk.
Remember that the cooking pots are actually also worth a bit for their weight, but not the other miscellaneous pots, specifically cooking pots. And I'm preparing to just have him pick up all the pots anyway. I've made this point many a time.
Empty.
Or was he already here? Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest. And he's...
All bills are evil.
logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
I'm not telling her that we blew up that guy. If she somehow didn't hear it, she doesn't need to know.
That can't be natural.
Now that I'm up, I'd like to bathe and dine. Ring for the servants.
Oh dear, I'm afraid you're a long way from home, my lord. A long way from the little bells that make footmen come a-running.
Index fingers pressed to her lips. She pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to sauce. For good.
Why did you collar me?
Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those sauce spells of yours? See what happens.
I am going to try to use the stare that enthralled a demon, apparently.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your face. All will, but no result. There you have it. See? The collar's function. It neuters you of sorts. Makes you unable to cast source. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
Looks like someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early.
That's a lot of blood.
Quite the mess they made.
A young magister stands pale and sullen.
Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
Why are you letting me so close to the crime scene? I could be the killer.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course.
I don't hail from the House of Dreams. When I sleep, I truly sleep.
Figured as much. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that?
My price is considerably higher than that.
Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever did this is dangerous.
Okay, well, apparently messing with the body in any way would be, not a good idea right now, so we're gonna leave this alone and try to get out of all this blood.
Come on, please, Losa. Be good, you scallywags.
Ooh. Bedrolls usually sell for a good bit, but we should probably each keep one on hand because you can use them to heal when you're out of combat. And sometimes if you happen to be low on health and on fire or something when combat ends, sometimes it's the only way to avoid accidentally dying because you end up taking too much damage over time before you can get a healing spell off.
Okay, so I will pick one of those up if I...
There's one down here. Down here.
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying
See?
to hear anyway?
And taking all their booze.
Boring.
It's all mine. Yeah, a bunch of children that I don't want to deal with. The kitchen pots are actually worth the same as cooking pots. I was actually slightly wrong on that. I think there's another type that is just junk. Like the jugs and stuff aren't worth anything, but
I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about
My
us.
prince!
The cook bows slightly and wipes her hands on her gruel-stained garb.
Forgive me, your highness. I didn't expect... Well, anyway, whether I had more than cornmeal and rotting roots to serve, I'd concoct something more fitting for one of your stature.
well, if anyone else had said that to me, I would make a scene. But clearly, Akin knows what she's doing, and she's doing her best with what the Magisters provide. Relax. You've no reason to apologize.
She nods and smiles wanly before returning to her duties.
A no doesn't mean yes.
Oh, raiding the kitchen already. Continue.
I'm stealing. But no one seems to care, so...
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
And who are you?
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out, flicks a finger against one of your scales, and rubs his chin.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
To touch a prince of the empires to experience 7 years of good luck. You're welcome.
7 years? What an infinitesimal period! Why would anyone? Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How difficult. You have my apologies, Lizard. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once.
So about that book you're reading, you seem really engrossed in it.
I do not believe I've been drawn anywhere. It is a quaint little read, but it has its faults. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
I know everything, obviously.
Most unusual. And if it's not too rude to suggest, not much of an answer. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
If you want legends, you shouldn't be reading a history book.
Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else?
I told you you were looking at completely the wrong genre. That's a start.
Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
Alright, clearly not worth talking to you any further.
Can we just skip
Anyone else interesting? Anyone else here? What are you on about?
The dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
Boy. You ought to think twice before addressing me like a child.
He turns his head toward you, looking you up and down, and smiles before turning his attention to the ship once more.
You look like a boy to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't.
Well, I'm going to get gone because I'm not interested. Clearly, he doesn't know his place.
What you must. I've nothing to hide.
Let's get on with talking to the Magisters then.
It's a register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
Would you be fine, collared like a dog and stuck in this ship's hold with a corpse and a murderer on the loose?
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
Sorry you're upset, sir, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Is there anyone you wanted to talk to?
I
know it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, you just repeat the same conversations in most cases, but there might be some unique ones. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you want to talk to the rude dwarf. I'm not talking to him again.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
What am I meant to be hearing?
Of course.
Ask what you must. I've nothing.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
It sounds like a ship.
And? Then you're not listening hard enough, mate. Go on.
Yeah, what am I even supposed to be listening for?
You've got ears on your head, haven't you? Do you need me to show you how to use them?
Okay, I don't have time for this.
Standing at the center of the room,
Well,
eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters.
Well, while they're distracted by whatever altercation is happening, steal their dinner. Including their plates.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella.
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
Even just sweeping all of the stuff up into a tablecloth or something as this is happening.
Must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
I'm not saying yes, sir, to a magister, so... To the sorcerer lady, then. What do you mean by there are others whose lives must end?
Means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Why can't we do that?
I really don't know.